I got a call from one of our citizens, very active in politics, and his message was, Madam President, you need to come down to Mother Emanuel. We just had a killing of 9 people. And when I got there and met my girlfriend, and it was just unreal. It was you can't imagine, because most of the family members who had gathered didn't really know who actually had died. My first vice president, Reverend Darby, he called and he said, because he was really close to Senator Pinckney, he said, Dot, I think Clemente may have been one of the victims, because everybody I know has been calling him. And now the prayer service, their prayer meeting would have been over by now, and he's not answering. And as the word came out, every time there was a message coming out and as to who they thought were, it was one thing, but when they made it official and the mayor got there and they started naming those folks who were deceased, it was, I don't think I'd ever experience anything like that again, ever, ever, ever. Out of the 9 that were killed, Myra Thompson, Susie Jackson. In fact, I've got a copy of Susie's last check that she sent for her membership, and Senator Pinckney, life member. And here was the president at the funeral. Those over there was also where the president, when he was about ready to sing his Amazing Grace that went viral. And here is the information about the flag that came down. It wasn't just that young boy. It's this. I have to, if I go no farther than the state of South Carolina, that we are still living and behaving in a way that a 19-year-old kid would be able to carry out something like that without people that he doesn't really know. Who would want to have a race war? What are we teaching our children? And part of the discussion I have often with the school district, as long as we continue to separate the children and have them to believe that I'm superior. Folks are not going anywhere. Minorities, there's no Africa for us to go back to. There's none. And when adults continue to perpetuate that, this is the mindset you get from folks who are not well educated and for whatever reason they could have other issues going on, but to exact this kind of pain and suffering on I say a nation. I mean, this is not just a Charleston thing. This is and I think that's why we've got all this attention, because the world looked at this and said, this is a young person that went into a church and decided, I'm just going to kill all of them.
And he knew it was a mostly black church.
Well, he knew it was a black church. He knew, they said he had done his research. Mother Emanuel is the oldest African-American church here. I mean, and he also knew that Pinckney was an elected, when he came in, he asked, is the pastor here? He sat next to the pastor.
Do you think that part of it is, media putting in the minds of unstable people like that these people are the problem? These people are the problem.
Absolutely. When you hear things like that and like the coded words of those people want handouts, something that's been striking here recently. We've had drug addiction and crack addiction for so long, and we have kind of blame the addicted, and we don't have resources for it. But now we're seeing an increase of the heroin addiction with white folks, white young people, and now all of a sudden we're beginning to pay attention to it.
When there's an epidemic of white people on heroin in New Hampshire, we got to do something for them.
We got to do something for them. But here again, that's the world we live in, that it depends on who it is that's being most affected.
The forgiveness, they express forgiveness so quickly. Do you feel that that was right, that the shooter or whomever, that kind of evil should be forgiven?
Okay, I respect the rights of the family of those deceased to make whatever decision they felt. I personally had said to myself, I don't know if I would have been there that soon. I think that grieving and going through the process at some point, and to know that the person who was the perpetrator, that they would want to ask for forgiveness. I said, no, everything that I've been taught as a Christian is that we should be asking for forgiveness. And here was someone that in no point at all had even indicated that. But I also believe that if they felt like forgiving them made them feel better, allowed them to move on and not have that anger, then I think that's what they should have done. I'm not sure that I'm that good of a Christian.
Pretty good to me. Thanks so much.